Welcome to another episode of Shut Up and Poetry. We're your hosts. I'm Essie Says. This is Salad Khan, and we want to share some poetry with you guys.
Oh my god.
Like one poem. Just one. Just the one. And we got a good one. She's pretty awesome.
Oh my god. Today we have Preach from Team Snow.
Team Snow!
So.
I'm in love with that snow. That's their call.
Really?
Like, legit, that's their call.
That's so
It's
cute.
awesome. So check out this poem. This is Preach.
Preach! When he grabbed my ass, memories flashed in muted walks down high school hallways. Hey, say girl, when you gonna let me fuck? Mocking boys with tongues cocked back, ready to fire on girls who will be women soon, but when he grabbed my ass, I was a woman. I already made it through my youthful silence, laughing from embarrassment, soft taps on his arm instead of breaking his wrist. When that man grabbed my ass, well, I felt robbed. Cheated out of a walk downtown, there were two of us, holding hands in love. A love that was only recently bold enough to come out in public, but his hand reminded me of prior walks down sunlit sidewalks filled with men, pointing fingers but never bold enough to touch, only say, y'all ain't gay. Only ask if he can join. Only claim, well, y'all must have not had the right dick yet. When that man grabbed my ass in the middle of Canal Street. When that man grabbed my ass in the middle of fucking Canal Street. I didn't fight him. My wrists held no fists, only loose, defeated fingers. His skin made me think about my brothers. 3 black boys, big hands, firm fists, WWE marathons. Man, I wanted to choke slam that motherfucker. But all I could do was squeeze her hand and keep walking. See, we've been talking about being brave, unafraid of possible future days without worrying about people and their double takes. I think those girls are gay. We've been talking about our own forevers, unafraid of the heterosexual countdown to white picket fences and children and his and her bathroom fixtures. We would just call them hers and hers. We've been talking about loving out loud, but when that man grabbed my ass, his friends thought it was funny. Must have been encouraged by the street lights. I keep telling myself I want to start working out. Since my mouth is prone to silence, I should strengthen these hands. So the next time a man tries to touch this body, my body won't feel so damn helpless. I really wish this wasn't necessary. Buffing up so a man would be worrying about me striking back instead of just trying to respect me.
Let's go.
He could have been one of my brothers. We could have been 2 girls on some other street in another town when a black man grabbed my ass in the middle of Canal Street. I felt betrayed, unsafe in this safe space. I felt like maybe it would just be best if we stopped holding hands.
Let's go. So I think that there are 2 main issues being presented in this piece, and they're both super important to talk about. One is specifically like street harassment by men towards women that still very much happens today, but then also talking about this like kind of like denial of sexuality that still happens. And she has this like really shitty but impactful line of just like, you ain't had the right dick yet, y'all ain't gay, like just like some fucking random guy on the street telling them their sexuality. I think that's fucking crazy. And she just like, she tells this really heartbreaking story of like just how much she has to undergo this like forced silence and like having all this like raw power. Like when she's performing this poem, she has all the words to say, like all this like pent up like rage about this issue, but when it happened to her, when this guy grabbed her ass, she wasn't able to say anything. And I think that's so heartbreaking. That's why like these pieces are so important, because like these issues have to be talked about, and maybe not in that instance of when they happen, but like educating on a broader spectrum of like, this shit still happens. Like, yeah, the Supreme Court ruling was a huge win, but that doesn't mean like all this stuff is gonna go away.
Right. It's going to take us a really long time to still get us up to speed. We're still dealing today with issues like sexism and racism.
Yeah.
So we know that this is not going to be an overnight victory. So definitely a time to celebrate, but definitely also a time to stay aware.
Yeah.
To make sure we're aware of what we're doing when we're around people who are different from us,
Yeah.
especially if you don't understand it. Try to educate yourself. But one of the things that really stood out to me was, you know, you talked about her being silent, and she says something like, maybe I should start working out so I can be stronger. And I kind of got this vibe that she felt like there was something wrong because she didn't say anything. And I can relate with that, like, oh my God, I should have said something. Next time I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
But just the fact of her and her partner being out there on Canal Street in New Orleans, in Louisiana, in anywhere, holding hands, like, that is brave.
Yeah.
That is a brave thing to do. And, I mean, I would just say, do it, girl.
And she talks about bravery too, and I just I love it. It's so, like, the way she ends it is heartbreaking because she's, you know, just considering not showing your affection to someone because of what other people are pushing onto you is heartbreaking. And so I love the way that she ends it because that's real. That's so many people struggle with that. But I agree completely. Like, the fact that they were brave enough to do it in the first place is so important, and we have to keep making these, like, brave moves if we want to see changes in society. So Preach, thank you so much for this beautiful piece.
Preach, girl, preach.
We will have more on Preach and her poetry in the description section below. But let us know what you thought of her poem. Tell us in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, Team Snow is raising money to go to nationals. We'll have information about that in the description section. But don't forget to subscribe. Love us on Facebook and Twitter and the things that you can like.
Tumblr.
That's the one.
Da-da-da-da.
And we'll see you guys next week for another episode of Shut Up!
And poetry.
And poetry. Bye.
Shut up.
And poetry.